important. We're going to talk about how to learn the Chinese language as quick as possible. And we're going to get into 8 important steps to get you to be able to speak fluent Chinese. Okay, let's get to number 1. Number 1, learn the basics. All right, that's quite important. So learning the basics is getting a thorough knowledge of the nouns, the pronouns, and also the sentence structure and other forms of the Chinese grammar to help you understand how to implement the Chinese language when you are speaking. Without a foundation and without the basics, it's hard to be able to master a language. So whether you find a teacher or whether you get a book and go to the library or you get a book that's on Chinese, it's also very important that you get the basics and you have an important foundation of the Chinese language before you get started. So that's number 1. Let's go number 2. Number 2 is also very important. Number 2 deals with consistency. And when learning a language, you have to be consistent. You can't be one day in and one day off. You have to be consistent with the language. You have to make sure that you set a time, set a day that you go to the language and that you learn it and that you put your 100% in it, and make sure that you continue to put yourself in a position where you're learning the language on a continuous basis. So consistency is very important. When learning this language, you can't have one foot in and one foot out. It's important that you have a plan and that you stick to that plan and that you never waver from it. So consistency is a very important part of the plan if you want to learn Chinese. All right, let's get to number 3. Number 3 is very important, and a lot of us have this issue, and it's called ego. Ego is when you are afraid to make mistakes, or you are afraid to be able to surrender yourself in a way that you allow others to correct your mistakes. So when you're learning the Chinese language, there are going to be times when you're going to make mistakes. It's like a baby. When the baby is first making steps, the baby falls, the baby gets back up. That is a common concept for anybody that's initially learning something. And in order to learn something, you have to be able to obtain the fact that you are going to make mistakes, and you have to let go of the ego. You have to get the ego out, and you have to allow others to come in, correct your mistakes, and so that you don't make those same mistakes in the future. So if you have a big ego and you want to learn this language, you're going to have to find a way to drop the ego, and you're going to have to allow others to be able to come in and be a part of your plan to master the Chinese language. So dropping the ego is number 3. Let's get to number 4. Number 4 is quite important, is that you have to find friends who are fluent in language. All right, and that's quite important. Environments, being around individuals on a consistent basis who are able to speak the language fluently, whether that's being abroad in the country that speaks the language, or being having conversations with someone who may be online, a teacher or mentor. So having someone around you consistently that speaks the language and speaks the language very well is very important. Environment, proximity is important if you really want to master this language. For those who live in different countries, such as the United States, you know that somebody who comes from abroad goes to the United States, they can easily pick up the language. And the reason why is that is because they are in an environment where the majority of the people speaks the language. So environment and proximity around people who speak the language is very important. If you have someone who's a close friend of yours and they are native of that country and you know your goal, um, please inform that person that um, your plan is to master the language, and that individual should be able to help you to implement that plan by speaking their native language with you on a continuous basis. Right? Let's get to number 5. Um, you're going to need to, in this step, it's important that you change all the apps that are on your phone to the native language. In this case, we are referring to the language of Chinese. So if you have a phone, iPhone or Android, there is a section where you can change your apps from your native language to Chinese. In that way, you're putting yourself in proximity of that particular language, Chinese, on a continuous and daily basis. Allow you to get used to being around the language and using the language as if you were a native. All right, let's get to number 6. Number 6 is quite important. It also helps you to put yourself in a proximity of the language, and that is watching movies, cartoons, or sitcoms in the native language. So when you're watching these movies and sitcoms, you can have a keen ear and you can be practicing and listening to the characters in the movie, how they speak and how they pronounce the language, and you can mimic those different tones as you watch those particular programs. And what's also important too, please make sure that when you're watching these different sitcoms or movies, that the bottom that you have subtitles, and that those subtitles should be in your native language, such as mine, it will be in English. And as well too, the foundation, as I spoke before in step number 1, is having a thorough concept of the basics of Chinese. Is pinyin, which is a romatized structure of the Chinese language, and those can also be in the subtitles to help you match with what the character is saying, just in case you're not familiar with the characters. You can watch the pinyin, and then you can match that pinyin and be able to pronounce those words according to the pinyin. Right. Let's get to number 7, which is quite important, and it's a concept that that I devised when I first came to China, and that number 7 was visualizing everything that you see in your environment in Chinese. And so when you're trying to learn a language, it's very important is to think in Chinese and visualize everything in the language. So let's say I'm walking down the street and I see the traffic light. If I know how to say the traffic light in English, it's very important that I know how to say it in Chinese as well too. So everything that you see around you in your environment, make a note of it and try to find out what that particular object is in Chinese, in the Chinese language, and that will help you to consistently build upon your Chinese language skills. Okay, guys, let's get into the last one. The last one is using a verified translation app, such as Google or any other verified translation app. Just make sure it's verified. It's been a lot of times where I've used apps and I've come across them in the past, and sadly mistaken, some of those apps were not correct. Alright, so be very careful and make sure that the apps are verified and authentic. You can also use a dictionary as well too. So make sure you can go to one of your local bookstores, get your dictionary, Webster's Dictionary, Chinese English translation dictionary, and that dictionary can help you lead you on a path to learning Chinese. Jotting down different words and words that you don't know, make a note of them, go back, write them down, get your dictionary or get your Chinese app or Google translations and try to find out what those particular words are. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in. And I hope these 8 steps will help you get on your path to becoming fluent in the Chinese language. Thank you, and thanks for watching. And please don't forget to click and subscribe to INC2 Adventures. Take care. Have a wonderful day.